Hey everyone, it's Tiana from the Maniology team here with our weekly live. Every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, you can find us here on another nail stamping journey. Whether it's a tutorial, technique, or hack, we're here to discuss the details, and I'm so happy you're here. And if you enjoy the videos and the content that we share, please go ahead and click that subscribe button so you never miss out on one of these lives. So we've been getting a lot of questions about sheer polishes, and so basically that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can use sheer polishes, and not necessarily stamping all of them, but I hope that you're interested, and yeah, if you're ready to jump into it, stay tuned. So the questions, we actually just released the summer collection here that I have in my hand, and this is a part of our regular polish line. So here for the blue, we have Blueberry Blast, and we have Firecracker, and this is Bubblegum Swirl. Now out of the 3, this one is more of like a sheer, while these are kind of like a crelly, or there's a little bit of like a cream kind of cloudiness to it, but it's still, they're all sheer polishes. So I would say, you know, I love sheer polishes because there's so much you can do with it, even if you haven't really played with sheer. But I love the concept of layering. So today, the 3, I have some tips here that I'm going to show you. So the first method I have here is a beautiful rose quartz design that I use with a combination of this color here and also mostly this color. Sorry about that. And I just love how like the veins inside the design layers, and yeah. The next one, of course, because it's summer, I think it's a perfect idea, but I did kind of like a little beachy wave design using Blueberry Blast. That is a real tongue twister for me to say that. And then last, again, kind of going with that layering concept. And this, I use actually some stamping in here. I layered 3 different elements. Now this is kind of like a real layered design because I had to seal in the stamping, but I'm going to show you basically how to do all 3 of those. Okay, so let's get started. I think before I jump into, I want to kind of I have some swatches here that I wanted to show for the polishes I'm talking about. Okay. So here I have 2 coats of Blueberry Blast, this color, so that's basically what it looks like. I should have put this on a stand, right, and not my hand, but I actually don't have any stands right now available. That's okay. Even my nails are sheer too. They're ready to come off. Okay, the next one, let's see, is Firecracker. So you can see here, I'm gonna actually take it apart. So you can see how you can see the Maniology through that. That's with 2 coats. Actually, I should have done that with the blue, right? Can you see? I can still see some of the lettering, but not as sheer as Firecracker, right? Because you can really see through. But again, the makeup of the polish is also a little bit different. And the last one that I have is more of like Again, it's a bubblegum pink, so Bubblegum Swirl is a perfect color for that, or a perfect name rather. You know, I was going through my videos and it's so funny how I hiccup a lot of the words. Well, again, I guess that's why we do live. Whatever comes out of my mouth is what comes out of my mouth. But it's so funny because like we can do so many bloopers with just little mistakes that I've said. I'm sure you guys want to see the difference. So this is Firecracker and this is Bubblegum Swirl. So you can see Firecracker has a little bit more red in it, while this one it looks very bubblegum in comparison, and like a soft bubblegum. And you know, again, when the sheerness, you can see that one is a little bit more opaque, but that's also because there's a little hint of white inside of the color. Okay. Okay, what should we start off with first? I guess bases. We should start off with bases first. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's see. Just get started on all of them because, again, this is regular polish. We're gonna have some wait time. Nothing too crazy though. Oh, is there a... Uh-oh, I got a fuzzy in there. I'm trying to get it out. Don't you hate that when you're painting and then all of a sudden you see a little fuzzy in there? But I think we got it out. Yep, it's gone. Okay, so let's do that. And I'm gonna leave this one blank and you'll see why. Okay. This one, okay, in my sample, I actually painted the whole thing blue. I'm gonna kind of leave this little corner down here like as light as I possibly can, which is funny because this whole thing is light, but yeah, changed my mind. It's another thing on these lives, just got to make it work. Somebody had left me a comment on YouTube the other day that they really enjoyed seeing, and don't worry about my kind of erratic painting on this. That's all going to be adjusted and stuff in just a little bit with the technique that I'm going to show, so don't worry about it. How she likes to see like the problems or the hiccups that we have here on Maniology Live, and I enjoy it too because you guys can just see the realness of, you know, sometimes you have a plan, doesn't quite work out, and that's okay. The rose quartz is really simple. Now, I won't lie, the sample that I gave here, I freehanded, which is fine. You can do that. But I'm going to show you the stamped version because we have some really cool plates that have marbling on it. And so today I'm going to use M020, which is from Nailosaurus. And I'm going to use this section of marbling lines here. And I love the fact that this design gives really nice direction too. Like there's a, like marble does, the veining and stuff. So I'm going to use that design. And I am going to stamp with Bam White. And this technique, we're going to help to blow out the lines and stuff to soften it a little bit. So it's not going to look very straight and rigid. We want it to look a little flowy. Okay, that polish is dry-ish. So let's do this. today I'm going to be stamping with my handy dandy white stamper. Nice. So this next part is really relaxing. All I have is my 100% acetone here, and this is actually our brush from our pencil stamper here. If you didn't know that we had this is awesome. So if you have small designs, you can go ahead and use this double-ended stamper. That's basically the brush part that I'm using, this angled brush. And I'm just lightly getting some acetone, not a whole lot. You want it to be damp, but you don't want it to be too wet because we've already laid down the background. And I'm just gonna go over those lines and kind of blow them out. Do you see how I'm softening that area over here? So it helps to kind of give this almost soft cloud-like effect. Now keep in mind just this general technique because I'm also going to be doing it for the next design I'm going to show you too, the beachy one. And honestly, for me, I love doing this because this concept is kind of abstract. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You know, you're going to do it to your liking. So again, I just kind of lightly wetted the brush again with 100% acetone. And I'm kind of following some of these harsher lines because I want to blow them out a bit. Okay. So you see how much of that acetone I'm taking out of the brush? Here, I'm going to wet it again just so you can see. Kind of lightly dab it here just so it's not super wet. I just need it damp enough. And I do this every so often because this is kind of a lot of white stamping polish. And we don't want it to get too muddy and too cloudy, so I just want to make sure that brush is clean because I'm taking off some white polish, of course, because it's acetone. Dip the brush. That one, a lot came out. So maybe I'm not doing everything, all the lines, but I'm doing most of them. Okay, so I hope you can see that. This part looks a little too white for me. So again, this is just personal preference, but I'm gonna take off some of that white there. And all I'm doing, again, is just using my acetone to kind of suck up or blow out some of those lines. Okay, there. So that's what it looks like. You can see another area here that I want to kind of soften out a little. Okay. Now this is all dry, so I don't have to worry about that. So the next part is I'm going to go back in with, actually, I'm going to use Firecracker. So I laid down the base with Bubblegum Swirl, but I'm going to layer with Firecracker. Okay. I'm going to let that sit for a while. See, I already love what that did to it. It just added a different dimension. I love that. And I love how some parts are kind of still opaque white, while others have a pink sheer to them. So if you've ever seen a rose quartz stone, you know, it really has a lot of like really, really pinky areas with some really soft areas and maybe some white depending on the veins. So I'm in love. This is so pretty. I guess if you wanted to, you could just leave it like this, but why not make it a little bit more complicated, right? I'm gonna do another layer just so we can kind of see what that looks like. Okay. Now this one, right now, for this tip, while we wait for that other one to dry, I am going to add in, this is another regular polish of ours, Glam, which is like this really kind of sandy hollow gold. And I said sandy, so it's kind of to create a fun sand-like design. So I'm just going to paint some of that right here on the corner. Kind of going diagonal because that's the way I'm going to put my waves coming on shore kind of thing. So I think this is a really fun kind of summery look. That's why I wanted to keep this area kind of sheer here. I'm going to go in with another coat, but I'm just going to let that dry for a bit because if we keep just going, it's just going to get clunky, chunky, and junky. So I'm not going to be impatient like I normally am, and I'm just going to just plop that on there and wait a moment. I don't want to be jumping on too many nails. Like I want to start on this one, but I don't want to confuse. So I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible. Because I did such a thin layer, I think I can, yep, we're good to go. Awesome. And it's so nice to do like really thin layers too. Alrighty, let's go ahead and clean off this plate. I probably could get away with doing another stamp, but I'm not gonna show you guys my bad habits, okay? Perhaps maybe that's something I do off camera for myself, but no bad habits on Maniology Live, right? I'm using my pineapple cotton cloths, just clean that up. Okay, I think I'm going to use some of the lines that are further up here because I like more of that spacing. So going back in with our BAM white. Oh, I forgot to clean my stamper. That would have sucked if that up. Okay, just using my sticky stamper, clean off. Just have a clean stamper head. And let's see if I can still pick up. Looks good, looks good. There you go. It was touch and go for a little bit, won't lie. So I didn't stamp all over the nail, and that's fine. Again, this design can be as abstract as you want it to be. So going back in with the whole acetone technique, I'm going to go ahead and wet that angled brush that I'm using. Dab out some excess and continue that whole blowing out. Now you notice if you put a little bit more acetone on your brush, of course it will eat up the layers if you have way too much. Like I can actually take off pink, and I really don't want to do that throughout the whole design, but you'll notice like it starts to eat away at the pink over here. And actually, you know, for this I don't mind it so much just because, like I said, rose quartz, not all of them are super pink. You know, some of them have some light areas, dark areas, so that's why I love sheer polish. You can do techniques like this. you know, as opposed with a opaque polish. Depends what your idea calls for. Okay. I need to pump again. Sorry, I got quiet. Focus mode. So do you like how this is turning out? I am. I'm loving it. I feel like for this one, I'm leaving a lot more of the details. I mean, it's not a lot more. I've blown out most of the lines, but I'm only doing it very lightly. So can you see that? Okay. So using this Firecracker again, I'm gonna go in and paint another sheer layer. I don't know, like you can tell just how soft that became when I put the Firecracker on. I'm just trying to move it around so you can see the difference, because you can see the light. Just want you guys to see it as clearly as I can. And that's basically what the finished look is going to be. And you notice that I didn't mess with putting on a smudge-free top coat. And because honestly, I don't mind if there's just a little bit of smearing, because it kind of adds to the character of what the design is supposed to look like. So, I mean, not that there is any smearing. I actually don't even see any. But, that looks so pretty. So you can imagine, say for instance, if you did a design on all, you know, your fingers and stuff, how different you could make this, or how like a darker pink or a lighter pink or a more cloudy color. Like there's so much you can do with this. Okay. We'll wait for that to dry a little bit before I put a top coat on there. And if I forget, well, I won't forget. Alrighty. So now I'm going back in with Glam, right, for my second coat of like that sandy look I was trying to accomplish here. Just so it looks a little bit more dense with the gold over there. Yeah. And of course, who doesn't love a good glitter? So we can go ahead and get started on this beach look. Now this one, I'm actually not going to use any stamping. I'm going to freehand, and you'll see why. Again, I love this because there's really no wrong way to do it. So again, using Bam White, I'm just gonna kind of take off, not everything of the polish over here, but so it's dry, it's not like real goopy. And I'm just gonna create like a wave pattern And don't worry, you'll see what I'm gonna do. Okay. I'm even gonna go over the sand a little bit. Okay. I know it doesn't look like much right now, but don't worry. Using the same brush, I am gonna do Acetone Technique and help to soften out the white. So if you've been on the beach and then you see like these ripples come in, that's basically what I'm trying to do. I won't lie, our beaches in Hawaii don't necessarily all look like this. Some of them look a lot rougher. We have a lot of beautiful surfing beaches, not a lot of simply calm beaches that look like these nice ripples, but this is what I had in mind. So just know it's not reminiscent of our beaches here on the island. Okay. So go ahead and be as abstract as you want to. As I'm doing this, I'm starting to notice that it's looking a little like rolling curly waves. Take out some polish where you want to. If later you felt like you took away too much, you can also add. Okay. So there. And I want this tip, this upper part of the tip here to be a little bit darker. So I'm gonna go in with some more of Blueberry Blast. I wanna say blueberry. Okay, not a whole lot, but again, that's the glorious part of the sheer. So I just kind of want to slightly add some dimension at the corner over there. Okay. And try to gradient it out. Oops. Well, as I say that, I've got a big glob right there. That's okay. This is Maniology Live, and we're just gonna have to roll with it. It's okay. It's nails. Okay, there. Ooh, I like it, I like it. See, happy little mistakes. Wait for that to sit for a little bit, and let's go ahead and cap this. Ooh, look at that. If, say for instance, this was like too much veining for you personally, then you could go in with like another sheer layer, but I like it. I'm gonna keep it as is, and I have my speed dry top coat here. So if you notice, I'm not using the smudge free because we don't have to. I'm not doing this right over stamping. This would also look really cute if you add a matte top coat. So basically the way that would work is if you have a matte top coat, after this layer dries completely, you can go ahead and put a matte top coat. And I feel like that would help to diffuse or soften the look a little bit more. But if not, we love a good gloss and we'll leave it as is. So there is our rose quartz. Okay, I think our beach scene is ready to go. So I'm gonna put a little bit more white here. Feel free to be as abstract as you want. So I'm gonna go do 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 do. Oops, whoa. That turned into like a big blob. Now I'm kind of keeping with the same direction though, right? I'm trying to do the diagonal, keep it at diagonal. So wet my brush with the acetone and take off some of this excess here. Oh. Nail art, brush, camera constraints. It's always so funny to work with the camera. Make sure I'm in focus, showing you guys everything you need to see. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm blowing out the lines in this because, you know, waves don't look very rigid, right? They look soft, like liquid. And I do want to make sure that the blue is kind of peekabooing through here enough. And so as I'm looking at it, I know you guys can't see it because, you know, you're not working as closely with the product and stuff like that, but there is some slight texturing right now. But don't worry, we will seal that up with a top coat, just like we did with the previous design. So there you go. That's what that's turning out to. I think I'm gonna go in with this other detail brush that I have here. So it's a little more tapered, not a little, a lot more tapered than the angled brush to help me get into some of these like littler areas here. I can already tell I want to put in more blue, so I feel like I put a little bit more, a little too much white. Try and keep it as sheer as possible. Nail art like this is perfect for me because it's nice to be able to kind of fix small mistakes. You know, mistakes happen when you're doing nail art. I don't necessarily think it's a reason to start over again. I mean, that's me. Because you can still come up with something that's rather pretty. Just like this. Okay. So I'm gonna take a little bit more glam over here because I layered a little bit more of that white, which is fine, but took away some of the pizzazziness of the sand. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. It's okay if it overlaps a little. And there you go. So this too, I'm not going to mess with going over with the smudge free. I'm going to go with my speed dry. Because I didn't put too much polish, I'm going to go ahead and top coat this. And I love watching how everything just like melts together. And if I bring it up, there's no textureness to this. It just, it looks just like a painting or something. Like it just melts together. The polishes just melt, and I love it. Let me know in the comments. So far, what do you guys think of your foamy, beachy rolling waves design and the rose quartz? This next one is going to be easy, just a process. So let me cap the polishes that I've opened here. Now this, I'm going to be using plate 282, and it has some beautiful like florals and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp some of these and create kind of like a garden look. So I'm just going in with my straight up black. Going to take off whatever parts I don't need because I don't want that stamped onto the nail. Sorry, I had to make sure I was coming at an angle a little. It's because I want to make sure I have room for my other designs that I'm going to add. Okay. So now that I've done this, I want to make sure that there's no smearing. So I am going to use a little bit of my top coat to coat that design. I know I always say this. I need to get another smudge free. Running out here. Okay. You can coat the whole nail, but I know when I get to the other ones, I'm just going to coat the design. The other layers, I meant. Okay. It's already getting to the point where this thing is getting a little stringy. It's like, oops. Oh, I know you guys didn't see that on camera, but because I was only using one hand, I almost dropped the bottle. You can probably hear like, oh, okay, yeah. That would have been a nice way to start my day, a broken glass bottle. Whew. I'm so thankful right now. Thank goodness it wasn't the black polish. Okay. Sorry, I had to take a few breathers. Just saw my life flash before my eyes. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with Bubblegum Swirl. Sorry, I keep looking underneath because I don't want to give you guys the wrong names, but I want to say something else. I want to say Bubblegum Pop. But you know, there goes Tiana making up her own words again. Okay, we're ready to go. It's tacky. I can see my light taps, but it's not dry. Okay. So this technique that I'm doing, it helps to soften it. I almost feel like it gives a little bit of dimension into the design. Now, of course, the black is very opaque, and in part, the reason why I did that is because black shows up really nicely on camera, so you can see. But I don't know. What other color do you think would be nice? Maybe even a soft green, that would have been nice too. But I like a really nice, I feel like black is just so bold. I love black. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit for a little bit because we want that layer to be dry. So I put a thin layer, shouldn't take too long. But the next one I am going to do is I'm going to grab one of these smaller leaves. The waiting game. How's about I clean this plate? I'm sure you guys would love to see that, right? How would you guys love to see a video of just us cleaning plates? I think there was a comment a long time ago saying like how much anxiety it was giving that we didn't clean the plates right away. Or have you guys seen those videos and stuff where people are, what do you call, cleaning something and they leave that like one bit and you're just like cringing the whole time because it's just that one part that's not clean and you just want to yell at them, but they can't hear you. And you know they're doing it on purpose. I don't want to go in too quickly because if that's the case, I'm going to smudge and muck up the whole design. So we're just going to wait. Back at my desk, I have a fan, so that helps to speed up the process. Now we're going to have to use Tiana's homemade breath fan. Get it together, T. I keep hitting this camera. We're always working in such close proximity to the product and the camera and the arm that's holding the camera, and it's just a funny thing going on here. Okay, let's see if I can grab this little flower here. So I'm going to stamp this design right there. Okay. Make sure I'm going to do a light coat of smudge free because I don't want that to smear and ruin that layer. You see how many times I went over that flower and there's no smudging? I'm always amazed Obviously, we've had this product for a very long time, but black would be, definitely would be the color that would smudge and just ruin it, you know? But I went over that like 3 times and there's no smudging. That always makes me so happy. I feel like there's always that cringe where it's like, is it gonna smudge? No, don't smudge. But I know the product works. I'm very much aware that the product works. Okay, then after this, we're gonna go in with another layer over that. But now it's just the waiting game. I probably should have worked on this design like in between instead of doing this one. But oh well, you live, you learn. So with every layer, the image in the background is going to get softer, while all the images that you stamp after that is going to still be slightly brighter than the back. And I like that. Sometimes your image might call for that. And who knows, I may have more ideas up my sleeve for how you can use sheer polishes. Maybe a part 2? Would you guys like to see a part 2? Okay, let me smudge free. I love you. You make camera time easy. At least today you do. Even though you were about to kill me with your sudden death drop. By my hand, of course. Okay. So this is now my second layer of Bubblegum Swirl. Okay. Now I love that diffused look that it's giving over here. It's really soft, starting to soften a lot. Again, these are sheer layers, right? So it's not going to make a drastic difference, but I feel like it makes enough of a difference, especially when you put you know, your top coat and your finished look. It could really make the design look really awesome. So now the waiting game. Let's wait for that layer to dry, and then I'm going to go in with a butterfly. Let's see. I like the direction of this butterfly coming to fly in towards the plants. So that's the one that I'm going to use. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and clean up this plate. Because that's how much time I have to kill in between. Where's my other plate? Oh, I'll clean the other plate too, since we're here, we're watching, we're enjoying me clean the plate. ASMR style. Okay. Sniff test. Still smells wet. Let's give it a moment. This year is going by really quickly. I'm just looking at a calendar I have next to where I'm working, And I can't believe we're already in the middle of July. That is nutty. You know, sometimes isn't it funny how your brain just, you have moments like that where it's like, whoa, that just came to mind, and whoa, yeah, that's happening. Okay, I think we should be good to go. Yep. Butterfly, butterfly. Okay, take a little bit of the black here. Let's clean off this excess here that I don't need, because that would suck if that's stamped on our layered design. Okay. So there, the butterfly coming in. I'm going to put a light coat over that of polish. Darn. This is what I mean. Sometimes when the layers are still wet, that can happen. So if you're impatient like me, shoot. Trust, shoot is not what I want to say right now. But I think I'm going to lightly use this stamper to try and press down oh my gosh. KT, you are doing so good. Okay, I think that's about as fixed as I can. So if you didn't know, if your stamper is clean, you can also kind of use that to instead of going in with your finger and leaving marks and stuff. Okay. Darn. This is definitely a do as I say, not as I do moment. Why? Okay, so apparently this part was really wet still and quite sticky. So basically what happened when I stamped it, I put too much pressure and the polish was kind of leaking onto the side. So that sucked. But I fixed it as best as I could. So it's not, I'm gonna wait like here. And I'm gonna be like Fonzie, and I'm gonna be cool and just wait. Because that would suck if at the very end I just mess up the whole design because I was rushing. Okay. So wait, T, just wait. Being impatient. Especially when it comes to nail art, honestly, patience is not really my thing. But patience is needed for designs that are going to come out looking fabulous in the end. In the meantime, we will have a clean plate. So many hiccups today. So many fun little hiccups. That's okay. We're chilling, being like Fonzie. That still looks very shiny. I should probably take a chill pill. So in the comments, Now that I've done these designs, are there any other ideas that you could use for sheer polish? What do you guys think? I do have a few more, to be honest, but I'm not going to do it today. Why? Because I said 3. I'm going to show you 3 ways to use polish. Like I said, maybe we can do a part 2. Maybe a part 3 if I get eager. I'm not sure. Okay, let me see. Sniff test. Okay. That is dry. This is like I hate you tea. Okay. So here we go. Thin layer, thin layer. Start on this side since that's the non-angry side. So can you see how that layering has kind of, it makes this part really diffuse. Oh, I lightly touched it. I don't know if you can see. I'm not gonna even point it out. So lightly diffused area here, less so, and then obviously less so because that only has 1 coat. But I love how the dimension kind of worked out. And let's just let that sit for a little bit, and then I will go ahead and put a top coat over that. And I'm just going to use a speed dry because we've used the smudge free on all the stamped areas that we needed. And another thing I love too is just how it's not chunky at all. It's really still thin. Okay, so let me finish this. There you go, that's what the finished look is. So let me clean this up because you know how I don't like to. Why would I want to showcase on like a really messy background, although this is nice, all the art that we've done. But let me move this on the side. So first up, we have this beautiful rose quartz. Then we did this beautiful beachy rolling waves design with our sand here in Glam. I think this turned out really nice. And again, I love how the top coat helps to bring it all together. And then last, we did this layering design. Like I said, it's not thick, it's super thin. So it's not going to be like a chunky design, even though we put all those layers on. And I love the diffused look, how each layer has its own kind of little fun, soft detail. Okay. Let me know. Do you have a favorite design? Which one do you like? Alrighty, well that would be all for today. I hope you enjoyed watching me use the sheer polish collection. And don't worry, if you're interested, all of these colors are currently on our site now. So you just go to www.maniology.com. The collection is being sold together under the Americana line, but if you want to purchase these individually, you can. And honestly, for me, I hope we continue to develop our sheer line. Hint, hint. um, to our developers who make awesome nail products for us, Dev. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap up our tutorials today. I hope you really enjoyed watching the process of all of this come together. And again, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of our content. And we'll see you in the next one. Be nice, be kind, people, and take care. Bye.